boxing fans are in shock as rumors swirl about an unexpected and highly controversial fight: Canelo Alvarez vs. Jake Paul. Could the undisputed boxing king really step into the ring with a YouTuber-turned-boxer? According to top promoter Eddie Hearn and Canelo's own trainer, Eddie Reynoso, this isn't just speculation, it's a real possibility. If true, this matchup could redefine boxing's future, sparking a fiery debate between purists who see it as an insult to the sport and business-minded fans who view it as a financial masterstroke. With a rumored $100 million payout on the line, the question is clear: is Canelo chasing an easy payday? Or is this the beginning of a shocking new chapter in his career? The reaction to this potential fight has been explosive. Some argue that Canelo, a four-division world champion and the face of modern boxing, is throwing away his legacy for a circus act. Others believe it's simply smart business, capitalizing on the massive viewership Jake Paul brings to the table. But one thing is certain: if this fight happens, it will send shockwaves through the boxing world. Will Canelo's dominance make quick work of Jake Paul, proving influencer boxing is no match for a true champion? Or could Jake Paul, against all odds, deliver the biggest upset in sports history? Love it or hate it, this fight would be one of the most talked about events in boxing, and the drama is just getting started. According to well-known boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul is supposedly finalized. However, in the world of boxing, nothing is truly official until both fighters have signed contracts and the bout is formally announced. Rumors and speculation often circulate, sometimes from credible sources and other times from mere hype. While Hearn's statement adds weight to the possibility of this fight happening, even more surprising is that Canelo's longtime trainer, Eddie Reynoso, has also acknowledged in an interview that a fight with Jake Paul is indeed possible. This revelation has only fueled the fire, making fans question whether this fight is truly happening or just another publicity stunt. The mere idea of this matchup has caused a massive uproar among boxing fans and analysts. The sports community is sharply divided. On one hand, some supporters argue that this is a brilliant business move for Canelo, who is set to make an estimated $100 million or more from the fight. Given that boxing is both a sport and a business, Canelo choosing an opponent like Jake Paul could be seen as a financially strategic decision. He has already solidified his legacy as one of the greatest boxers of his era, so why not capitalize on an easy payday? On the other hand, many fans and experts believe this fight is indefensible from a competitive standpoint. To them, it represents a step down for Canelo, tarnishing his reputation as a serious fighter. Instead of facing legitimate contenders, he would be stepping into the ring with a social media influencer-turned-boxer, which many believe makes a mockery of the sport. One of the strongest criticisms surrounding this potential fight is the argument that if Canelo is willing to participate in these types of high-profile, entertainment-based matches for financial gain, he should relinquish his championship belts. Traditional boxing fans feel that world titles should be defended against deserving challengers who have worked their way up the rankings, not against someone who rose to fame through YouTube and influencer boxing. Some fans believe that by taking this route, Canelo is essentially signaling an early retirement from competitive boxing, prioritizing money over his legacy. If he truly wants to focus on exhibition-style fights, they argue that he should step away from traditional boxing altogether and pursue celebrity matchups without holding on to the belts. Many boxing analysts and former professionals believe that once a fighter prioritizes spectacle over competition, it becomes difficult to return to the same level of elite boxing. Some compare this situation to fighters who have quit in the middle of fights once the mindset of taking the easier way out is instilled. It can be hard to shake. While this might be an extreme comparison, it does raise concerns about whether Canelo's motivation to fight the best is still there. His last few fights have been against relatively easy opponents, leading many to speculate that he may already be in the early stages of retirement, taking low-risk fights instead of seeking out the biggest challenges. This brings up the question, has Canelo lost his competitive hunger? Some argue that he no longer has anything to prove. He has won world titles in multiple weight classes, defeated top-level opponents, and built a lasting legacy in the sport. Perhaps, in his mind, he has achieved everything he set out to do and now just wants to secure his financial future. However, boxing purists strongly disagree. They believe that if he still holds championship belts, he has a duty to defend them against the best challengers available. One name that continues to be brought up is David Benavidez, a rising star known for his power and relentless fighting style. Many feel that if Canelo retires without facing Benavidez, there will always be an asterisk next to his name. Fans want to see him take on real threats, not participate in a fight they view as nothing more than a circus act. Meanwhile, Jake Paul, known for his aggressive self-promotion and viral marketing strategies, is once again proving that his ambitions in boxing are more than just talk. Many fans and critics have dismissed Paul's career as a social media stunt, yet he has managed to turn what seemed like an impossible dream into a potential reality. His ability to create hype has put him in a position where he might actually step into the ring with one of boxing's biggest names. To some, this is a testament to how far boxing has drifted into entertainment-based matchmaking rather than pure competition. Others argue that this fight represents the ultimate case of money over dignity. But with a reported $100 million on the table, it's hard to blame either fighter for considering it. After all, why would Canelo turn down what is likely to be the easiest payday of his career? That said, this fight is still not officially confirmed. The boxing world is no stranger to sudden changes and broken negotiations. Just a few days ago, there were talks of a Canelo vs. Terence Crawford fight, which was reportedly close to happening, only for those discussions to collapse almost immediately. Until official contracts are signed and a fight date is announced, everything remains uncertain. For now, fans will have to wait and see whether Canelo vs. Jake Paul is truly on the horizon or just another wild rumor in the ever-unpredictable world of boxing. If the fight does happen, it would be one of the most controversial events in recent boxing history. On paper, the matchup seems absurd. Canelo, a four-division world champion with over 60 professional fights, facing Jake Paul, a former YouTuber who has been boxing for only a few years. However, the reality is that boxing has always had an entertainment aspect, and big money fights often take precedence over pure sporting merit. Floyd Mayweather fought Logan Paul in an exhibition match, and Mike Tyson is set to fight Jake Paul later this year. While these fights may not be taken seriously by hardcore boxing fans, they attract millions of viewers and generate massive revenue, which is why promoters and fighters alike are drawn to them. One major concern is how a fight with Jake Paul could affect Canelo's long-term reputation. While some fighters, like Mayweather, manage to separate their legacy from exhibition-style fights, others have seen their careers decline after making similar moves. If Canelo defeats Jake Paul easily, critics will say it was a meaningless fight. But if he struggles in any way or, worse, loses, his reputation could take a major hit. Fans and analysts would question whether he is still the same dominant fighter he once was, or if he has started to decline. This could impact his future opportunities, as top-level opponents may no longer see him as the same threat. At the same time, Jake Paul stands to gain a lot from this fight, regardless of the outcome. If he somehow manages to be competitive against Canelo, it would legitimize his career in a way that none of his previous fights have. Even in defeat, just stepping into the ring with a fighter of Canelo's caliber would elevate his status in the boxing world. His goal has always been to prove that he is more than just an internet personality, and this fight would give him the biggest platform yet to do so. If he performs well, he could use that momentum to call out other top fighters and continue building his brand in the sport. Ultimately, whether this fight happens or not, it highlights the ongoing shift in boxing toward entertainment-driven matchups. Traditionalists argue that fights should be based on rankings and merit, while promoters and business-minded fighters see the value in creating matchups that sell. Canelo vs. Jake Paul, if it happens, will likely break pay-per-view records and dominate headlines, but it will also fuel the ongoing debate about the future of boxing. Is the sport evolving into something new, or is it losing its credibility? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, this potential fight has already sparked conversations that won't be dying down anytime soon.